Okay, so prime and composite numbers. We've done this before. This is a review. This deals with factors and multiples. And if you don't know the difference in factors and multiples, you cannot decide if something is prime or composite.
Yes.
So, a factor. Who remembers what a factor is?
A factor is a smaller number that goes to that.
It's a smaller number that multiplies.
Good, Destiny. I hear you too. You can answer. Smaller numbers that
To get a number.
multiply to get another number.
Yeah.
Okay? So, if I said to you, what are the factors of 14?
You would say
14 and 1. I heard Destiny say that on Zoom. 14 and 1. And 2 times 7. And we don't have to say 7 times 2 or 1 times 14 because of what property?
because the
Commutative property. Switching the order doesn't really change anything. All right, so if it has more factors than just the one in itself, the big fancy guy, then what is it called? Composite. That's a review. We've done that. I have a few people in here that are not with me. What if I said, what are the factors of 13?
13 times 1.
1 times 13 or 13 times 1.
29.
No, factors. The factors of it. Anything else that you can times to give you 13?
No.
No. See, if you don't know your times tables, it's going to get you. You're going to have to practice. So if nothing else besides 1 in itself will give it that answer, what is it called?
It's called
Prime.
I'm trying to say.
All right, now, changing directions. We're kind of working backward now. What is a multiple?
A multiple is a number that has
a number that
Good. So skip counting by a number. Basically, multiplying that number times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, and on and on. So if I told you the number is 12, give me the first multiple of 12. 12. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wondered if anybody would say 12 or if they'd just say 24. You start with itself because that's 12 times 1.
24.
What's next?
24.
Yes, and what's next? 36.
48.
48.
50.
60. So you see how that's 12 times 1, 12 times 2, 12 times 3, 12 times 4, 12 times 5. Yes?
Yes.
And then I put these little dots after it. Do you remember what these little dots are called?
I mean, they go
Not what they mean, but what are they called? This is a big word. Ellipses.
ellipses.
And they mean ... It goes on and on. Dun, dun, dun. And on and on and on. Okay? So, factors are the little things that go in it. Multiple are the bigger parts of it if you skip count up. If it only has 1 in itself, what is it called? Prime. And if it has other factors besides 1 in itself, it is composite. So if you look, that's what this example is doing. The only one we didn't talk about is right here at the bottom. Does everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Neither prime nor composite. 1. Why is 1 not prime or composite?
Because nothing times 1. Nothing times it.
Yeah. 1 is its only factor, right?
There's no like 10 times.
So it is not prime and it is not composite. It's neither. If somebody gives you a list and says which one has all the prime numbers or all the composite numbers and it has 1, then it's big fat wrong. Because 1 is neither. Okay? Yes, sir. You could do 1 times 1, but they're the same number. So it's still just 1. And remember, to be prime, it has to have a 1 and another number that is itself.
Yeah, 1 in itself.
So the number and itself can't be both a 1. So that's why that is neither. So if it ever puts 1 on a list with prime or composite, mark that out.
You are wrong.
Because 1 is neither.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to turn the page and look down at the guided practice on 492. And Destiny, I know you don't have your book, so just stay with me. I should have put it in there. All right, it says, tell whether each number is prime, composite, or neither. All right, prime, composite, or neither. So we're looking for each number's what? Factors or multiples? Factors. We have to look at how many factors it has. So what are the factors of 5? What times what gives me 5? 1 times 5. Is there anything else that's a factor of 5?
No.
So what is it?
Prime.
Prime. Only one and itself. Very good. Is everybody with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Very, very good. All right, so if I look at the number 15,
1 times 3, 10 times 5.
10 times 5 is 50. You're thinking plus. But I did hear 3 times 5. We know 1 times 15. So is it prime or composite?
Composite.
Why is it composite? Tell in your words.
One factor.
It has more than one in itself as factors. All right, 21.
21 times 1.
People think that because it ends with a 1, like 11, because 11 is prime, that it's prime. But it's actually not because of what? What?
Because
There you go, Destiny. There you go, on Zoom and still with me. 3 times 7, and y'all said it too. 3 times 7,
And 21 times.
yes ma'am, and 21 times 1. So because of that 3 times 7, see, people think, oh, well, if it's odd, it must be prime. Well, is that true? Because 15 is odd, and it was composite. 21 is odd. And what is it?
Composite.
Why is it composite?
Because it has more than one factor. More than its family. Or
Very good. I hear all of y'all answering really, really well. All right, 31. I know 1 times 31. Can I think of anything else that will multiply to give me 31?
hold on, let me think.
See, if you don't know your times tables, it's going to take you about 3 times as long as it should. All right, so 31, nothing times anything will give me 31, except 1 and 31, right?
Right.
So what is it?
Composite. It's still composite.
Prime. It's the big prime leader. It's Amazon Prime free 2-day shipping, because only 1 times it gives it its own answer.
I just.
Yes, 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 yes. All right, 2 more. Stay with me. Now I have 26. I know 1 times 26. Now I know, see, Gavin knows. He just said 2 times 13. He knows that 2 times 13 will give you 26. But let's say you didn't know the 13 part. You just knew 2 went into it. How do you know that 2 will go into 26?
You can see how many 2 times can
You
go
can
into
see how many
How can you, though, immediately know that this number will divide by 2?
because it's
Say it again.
Says it
it's
too.
even.
Because it's even. How did you know it's even?
Because
You're right. Because it doesn't matter about the 2, but it ends with a 6. 2, 4, 6, right? So even if you don't know immediately that it's 2 times 13, you know that 2 is going to go into this number, correct?
Yes.
So you already know, is it prime or composite?
Composite.
Composite. Why?
Because it has more than one factor in it.
because it's more than 1.
Because the 2 is going to go into it. Even if you can't figure out 2 times what.
Can't you see?
If I gave you, let me give you a random example here. And nobody answer out loud, just think a minute. If I gave you 4,298, and I said to you, will that number divide by 2? Why will it divide by 2? Because it ends with an 8. It's an even number. So I don't know what times 2 gives that number right this moment off my head, but I know it will divide by 2. Right? Right? Just like this. If I give you this number, 475, I know that 5 is not even. It's not going to divide by 2. But because it ends with a 5, what do I know it will divide by? 5. So without even knowing 5 times what is this, I know it's composite. Because like Gavin just said, I know it's going to divide by 5. If I gave you this number, look at that big number, 46,290. And I asked you, will 2 go into that number?
Yes.
Yes, because it ends with a 0, so that means it's even. If I asked you, will 5 go into this number?
Yes.
Yes, because it ends with a 0. If I asked you, will 10
Yes.
go into that number? Yes, because it ends with a 0.
30, 10.
So then you know it's composite just by its last number. 30 would, yeah, probably. All right, let's do the last one on this page. Number 6, 61. 1 times 61. I know 2 won't go because it's not even, right? If I tried to divide it by 3, if I come over here and do 61 divided by 3, it won't go even. What if I try to do 61 divided by 4? Something times 4 is 21. Nope. So it won't divide by 4. If I divide by 5, it won't go. 6. Nope. So it's only that. So what do we call 61?
Prime.
Prime. Big fat prime. Are we good?
Yeah.
Yes? All right. So let's look at this page. This says independent practice. Then it tells you to circle the prime numbers, cross out the numbers that are composite or neither. So what we're going to do is I'm going to help you with the chart, and then I'm going to let you go back and do this one. Okay? So everybody look at this chart. What do we know about the number 1? It's itself. So it's neither prime nor composite. That means not either one. So what will I do with the number 1 based on these directions? Cross out the numbers that are composite or neither. So I'm marking out the 1. Look at the number 2. A lot of people think that 2 is composite because it's even. What are the factors of 2? 2 times 1, right? You're thinking multiples. Wait a minute. Aubrey, don't get ahead of me. What are the factors of 2?
2 times 1.
2 times 1.
2 times 2.
So what is it?
Prime.
If only 1 times itself gives it, what is it?
Prime.
It is prime. So what does it say to do with the prime numbers?
Prime numbers.
Circle the prime numbers. Yes. All right. Number 3. What are the factors of 3? 1 times 3. Anything else?
3 times 2.
We'll give you 3.
No.
So what is 3? Prime or composite? Prime. So what will I do?
Circle.
Circle it. All right. What about 4? What are the factors of 4? Why is it composite? Answer, Destiny. I hear you. You're right. 2 times 2. So that makes it composite. So what do I do?
Mark it out.
Mark it out. Whoop, rip my paper. What about 5?
You can do that.
1 times 5. Yep.
I don't know. That's it.
Good girl. Good girl. So 1 times 5. And so it's prime. So what do I do?
Circle.
What about 6? 3 times 2. So really, how many of us like to work smarter, not harder?
Me.
All right. So if I know that all the even numbers, bless you, will divide by 2, right?
Yeah.
Except for 2, because that'd just be prime. Then what can I do with every other even number on this page?
Mark it out.
I can cross it out because it's composite. It was prime because only 1 in itself. But all the other even numbers I can cross out. We like to work smarter, not harder, correct? All right, so 8 is even. What's my next even number? 10, 12, 14,
16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25, 26, 28, 30,
keep going. You're doing great, y'all. You're doing great.
36, 42.
Okay, now start with 42. 42, 44, 46, 48, 50. Why did I mark all those out as composite without finding all the factors for all of them? Because I know they'll all divide by 2, because they're even. Now these 10 ones will also divide by 10, right? What do I know about these numbers that end in 5? What do you... Now 5 was prime because only 1 times 5.
You can X that out, then out too.
I can X them out too, Gavin. Why?
Because you can do 5 times 3, 5 times
5 times 3, 5 times 5, 5 times 7, 5 times 9. They're all multiples of 5. So they're going to be composite.
5 ones?
So we marked out the 5 ones, except for the number 5, because that would have only 1 and 5. Wait 1 second. Okay, so now let's look at what we've got left. We're at the 7. What are the factors of 7?
7 times 11.
7 times 1, so what's it labeled? Prime or
2
composite?
times 7
But remember, that won't give you 7. What will give you 7? 1 times 7, and that's it, right? So what's it called? Good girl, prime. Only 1 in itself. Now what about the number 9? It's odd. It doesn't divide by 2. But does it have other factors besides 1 times 9? What? What are they? 1 times 9 and what else? 3 times 3. So is it prime or composite? Composite because 3 times 3. Alright. What about 11? What times what will give you 11? 1 times 11. Anything else? So what is it? It's prime. We're circling it. Only 1 times 11 can give you 11. Alright, what about 13? 1 times 13. Is there anything else? No. So it's prime. What about 17? Only 1 times 17. So we're circling it. It's prime. What about 19? Now, originally we thought, well, it'll go by 3. But, will anything times to get 19? Only 19 times 1. Destiny, you and Gavin said that at the same time. So, is it prime or composite? Prime. Because only 1 in itself.
21 prime.
Alright, what about 21? Everybody thinks, oh, it ends with a 1 and it is odd, so it is prime. That is wrong. It is what? You can do 3 times 7, so it is composite. We're marking it out.
Marking it out.
See where you got to know your times tables. Alright, 23. Any factors that can give you 23? 23 times 1. Anything else? No. So what is it?
Prime.
Prime. What about 27?
Mark it out. You can do 9 times.
Everybody says, oh, but these were prime, so it's got to be prime. Think about what multiplies to get 27. 9 times 3. So it is composite. We're marking it out. What about 29? 29 times 1. Anything else? I try to think, will 3 go into it? Well, 9 times 3 is 27, right? So it's not going to give you 29. Nothing else will go to make 29. Then you would go up to 30. You're right. So nothing else will give you 29. So what will I do? Circle it. It's prime. Very good. All right, 31. What times what?
31 times 1.
Anything else besides the 31 times 1? No, so what is it? Prime. I'm circling it. Now we have 33, my favorite number.
Mark it out.
Why would I mark it out?
Because 11 times 3.
11 times 3 will give you 33. So I have to mark out my favorite number here. All right, 37. Y'all, we're almost done. Hang with me. It's prime. How do you know?
1 times 37 is the only.
1 times 37. 2 won't go because it's odd. 3 won't go evenly. 4 won't go. 5 won't go. 6 won't go. Nope, it is prime. You're right. What about 39? Now, a lot of people miss this one. They say prime because these other 2 were prime. Gavin just said composite. 13 times 3. See how both those numbers will divide by 3? So that means it is composite. Got to mark it out. We're almost done, y'all. Stick with me on 4 more. 41. What times what?
4 times 1, 41 times 1.
41 times 1. Anything else? So it is
9.
prime. Circle it. All right. What about 43? What can I divide 43 evenly by?
8. I don't know. I said 8.
I know 43 times 1. Anything else? Nope. So it's prime. Very good.
So I'll circle it.
What about 47? Anything that you can come up with. Huh? That's not 47. You're skipping ahead to the next one. But he said 7 times 7 is 49, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that off. Anything else that'll give us 47?
Nope. Prime.
Nope, so it is prime. Now the next one says write a prime number that is greater than 50. So if I went one more than 50, it's 51, right?
Yes.
Is 51 prime or composite? Why?
Because it ends with 1.
Well, not necessarily. This one was composite and it ended with a 1. But nothing else can times to get 51.
11.
That'd be 55.
Yeah, and it's about 50.
But then it would be composite. It wants prime. You're doing composite. So a prime number would be 51. All right. Write a composite number that is greater than 70. So a composite number means it'll divide by something else, right?
70.
70 what? 72. What would it divide by? We know it would divide by 2, right? Because it's even. You could write 100 there. You could write 80 there. You could write anything
Also 8 times 9 is
that has other factors besides 1 in itself for this one. All right, so if you go up on your page, you see these, and it's telling you to write prime, composite, or neither. So I want you...
Can I write 80 at 21?
Yes, honey, I just said that. I want you to see if you can decide whether they are prime, composite, or neither. And Destiny, since you're at home, you can do this just on a piece of paper. You can just write the number 1 with a dash and write whether it's prime, composite, or neither. And you can just put P, C, or N, okay? And I want you guys to do just these problems right here, and then we're going to go over them. And what I'm going to do is, Destiny, I'm keeping you on Zoom. You stay on. I'm going to stop my recording, and then we'll just keep doing the Zoom, okay?